Hey, let's go. So this is my first time. I really appreciate y'all for pulling up. This has been a long time coming, so I really do appreciate y'all for coming through. It really does mean a lot. I've been really appreciative of all your support over the last year, and I've been doing my best since I returned from the holidays to just make it a mission to keep on top of the communities and just keep in touch with y'all because y'all are building, y'all are cooking, y'all are really doing your thing, and people noticing it. I'm noticing it. My wifey's noticing it. She's a dev for Call of Duty and Activision, so she's tuned in. She'll be watching the recording a little bit later on and sharing it with her friends. But this is exciting news. So I'm really really blessed that music is still being noticed and appreciated in the Web3 world. I know it's a big asset. It really sets a tone for your animated projects, for your builds, anything that's got a visual to it. You can really spice it up with with an audio, or when you hear the audio side of it. And that's kind of where I am today and what's brought me here to my journey. So why I started music, well, for one, my father was a musician. He was a guitarist. He builds guitars, and he's been building acoustic guitars his whole life. So music has always really been a big part of my life growing up with just my dad and I. So music has always been a big thing. Going out to festivals, being on top of my dad's shoulders at these festivals when I was young. I'm a late 80s baby, so growing up in the 90s, hearing those hard rock, laid back rock, Tom Petty, Neil Young, all that soft rock really inspired and opened the doors to kind of where I am today and would be a laid back hip hop musician, I would consider myself. Um, but my dad plays a big role in my inspiration on music. It was just him and I growing up my whole life. My mom passed at an early age, so we really developed that close bond and relationship and more of a best friend. So he was really able to coach and mentor me, and kind of having a parent that allowed you to chase your dream and follow your dream, but also supported it. And that was a big thing that allowed me to really pursue the love and the passion for music. Which leads me to my next step. Why I'm passionate for hip hop. Um, Neo soul, R&B is my flavor of music, and I truly thank my fiance, who I've been with for 14 years, for turning me on to music like that I hadn't heard before. Erica Badu, um, just all those neo soul artists, just really inspired and kind of changed the whole tone on where I was going as an artist. Allow me to sip a little sip of water here. It's 8 o'clock in the morning on the West Coast, so appreciate y'all for working with me. The big thing too is collecting vinyl records. My dad was a big vinyl collector growing up, so being a kid, just looking at these giant square boxes, like what are these big circled plastic vinyl records? I remember he had like Led Zeppelin, some of the original Neil Young and Pearl Jam and Pink Floyd. And just having that visual artwork to see as a kid growing up and then holding that physical just made me appreciate being a collector. So I'm passionate for hip hop, but I also collect a lot of hip hop. That's a big thing. But I got a big stack of vinyl. I'm sure a lot of creators out there have a stack of vinyl. If you don't, I encourage you, go to the store and pick up a vinyl. Even if you don't have a record player, pick up a physical copy and hold it. And imagine what it felt like back in the 70s and 80s, being a kid, going to the store. You couldn't download your song. You couldn't stream it on Spotify or YouTube. You were going to the store, waiting in line, and hopefully there was still a copy left for you to take home, and that was yours. And that's where I think this physical part of it really is still my passionate part. I'm a big collector. Allow me just a moment here. Next thing I'm passionate about is collaboration with artists. Yeah, I gotta thank Jagman. I know he's probably asleep right now. He's been working hard, but collabing with artists has really been a big, fun, important part of kind of continuing my journey as a solo artist. Nothing funner than being with a group of people, your bandmates, or just your friends brainstorming. There's nothing better than having that constructive criticism, that feedback, the people that you can bounce ideas off of. But when you're a solo artist, you're your worst critic. Do you release that song that you did? If you're a modeler, if you're a builder, if you're an animator, do you upload it to the Forge? Or you keep it in the back burner for 5, 6 months? Sometimes it never gets seen or heard. So being a solo musician, you're your worst critic, but you definitely got to be acceptive of constructive criticism. Bouncing off of the ideas is a great thing. So that's a big thing. I'm passionate about hearing feedback and learning to grow as an artist, which is a big important part of my life. So I thank those early artists of Nifty Island, like Jagman, for reaching out. And we were able to create some good music. I've had some great conversations with y'all. Osai, we've been bouncing some music ideas off AI. We'll get into that a little later, but just hearing some of those laid back jams that people are coming up with, it opens the door to some new ideas, not just for yourself, but for other people. But moving on from the passionate side of hip hop thing is what brings me to the workshop today. Why I'm here. Why do I want to be here? Um, Again, being a solo artist, I could just sit there behind the computer and make music and hopefully that people will like it. But I love being out here and I love engaging with the community and love waking up and seeing good morning, y'all. It truly does make me feel good to have a community of people that I can come and talk with. The pandemic really took a toll on friendship and getting out there. So having you guys in the morning and a daily thing to come to is a good feeling. So that inspires me to keep writing and keep doing my things. So, moving on. What brought me to the workshop? I think can answer that pretty clear. But making music for a while now. Y'all know hip hop has always been been a big part of my life, to be honest. Someone who's been a beat maker and a vocalist, just realizing how important it is to understand the entire production process. Um, so what brings me here is just an opportunity to share what I've learned and show how I approach music production. And hopefully, it gives y'all a chance or inspires you to create something amazing yourself. So with that being said, I know y'all know a little bit about me and what music means to me. So I feel let's give you a little introduction of what we're going to be talking about today so y'all can cruise along easy with us. You'll have to forgive me. It's quite early. My voice is a little low. I have a little sip of coffee here. We'll go over a little overview of the workshop we're going to be talking about today. The whole process won't take too long, I imagine, if we stay on track properly. So with that being said, what we're going to get started with first is working with an instrumental or a beat and a recording audio software. For me, being on my Mac, I'm using Logic Pro. So we're going to be working with an instrumental that I've worked on, processed, exported, and we're going to be recording and editing some vocals today. So that's going to be the workshop. We're going to do some recording, editing vocals. After we get to the recording side, we'll do some mixing, add some compression, some EQ, and we'll blend the vocals. After that, we'll do a brief and a quick introduction to mastering for a polished effect. And finally, we'll export and upload that to the creator section in Nifty Island, which we used to call the Forge back in the day for some of those OGs. I was looking last night, and it has changed from the Forge to the creator section. Six, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that is it. Thank you. So that being said, I'm going to be switching over to a video stream. So the way that I've got things set up right now is I'm going to be turning off my mic and switching over to the video stream. So I'm going to see y'all in the video stream, and you guys will just have to click that to hear the audio there. And we're going to start off in Logic Pro with a blank session, and we'll go from there. So with that being said, grab a sip of water, take 10 seconds, 15 seconds, 20, and we'll see y'all over there in about a minute. And yeah, big love, man. Appreciate y'all. Hopefully I'm doing good, man. It's my first one, so work with me, but I appreciate the vibes. Big love, y'all. Okay, I will see y'all in a sec. I'm just going to share my screen now. All right, so we'll head over to the video stream there, and we'll see you there. All right, here we are. So this is Logic Pro. 6, just want to make sure everybody's in. We'll give everybody about 30 seconds just to make sure that they got the stream up. All right, all right. Let's get started. Don't worry, that's not a beer or a pop. It's a frothed oat latte, nitrogen infused. All right, guys. So this is my baby. This is Logic Pro. If we start with a blank session, you would not see the Discord audio track, so I've got my cursor here. I've just set this up for demo purposes, just so you guys can hear me and see that visual. As I was talking about, having a visual to go with the audio, it just works, it goes. But for this demonstration, we're gonna be using Logic Pro. So I've gone ahead and set up Discord. So what I have done is, on my microphone interface, whether this can be a guitar, this can be a bass, this can be a drum, it could be any instrument. But for today, it's gonna be a vocal. So what I've got set up here is my Logic Pro session. And first off, we're gonna be importing the instrumental into Logic Pro. So this could be any recording software. This could be GarageBand on your MacBook, Cubase. This could be any simple recording audio software. So the first thing you wanna do is import your track. It could be an instrumental, a stereo track, anything that you have. So you'd want to go down to the import into the audio section. Find your beat or your instrumental. Today we're going to be working on Dream for Today. Allow me just a moment here, folks. First off, when you get a new session, create a new track. We're going to be creating an audio track. You got the option to do a drummer, a pattern, or a MIDI. MIDI meaning if you got a drum machine, if you got any hardware that's got pads on it, that's where MIDI is going to play a role in it. But for today, we're going to be using the audio section. I'm going to call this beat. From here, I'm going to import audio file. As we're talking about, we're going to import this. It's going to call Dream for Today. The reason why we got a stereo track makes things a lot more easier when it comes to recording the vocal side of things. So you've got a little easier to work with. You've got just one level where you can adjust. I find this to be a lot more of a simpler workflow. Once you've got your own beat, you're able to import this and just have a seamless workflow. From this point on, we're going to be setting up our channels. So we've got our Discord audio, which I'm able to talk to you for. So we're not going to record on this channel. So we're going to create another audio track. And we're going to call this one Vocal 1. For the purposes of creating a vocal beat or recording vocals over a beat, you got to think of what your tool is, what you need. How many tracks do you think that you're going to need without cluttering, keeping it simple, keeping it organized? Personally, for myself, I like having 4 audio tracks, between 4 and 6, when I'm just starting off fresh. So I can go ahead and create 3 more tracks down at the bottom. So I'm going to call this Vocal 2. It's always good to label your files ahead of time, because that way you're gonna end up muting, soloing, trying to figure out which track is what. If you label your tracks right away, It's pretty easy. Logic Pro's got a really nice way of having icons for your tracks. So I've gone ahead and made a custom icon to know which one's who. A little gang there. You can do it any way you like. Logic's just got a really nice way of being able to implement icons into that. So if you've got collab features or anything like that, you can put their other avatars up. Right? We gotta identify by our avatars, right? So now that we got our tracks labeled and we've got our inputs, so depending on what your interface is, or depending on your guitar, your vocal, your piano, I've got a 2-channel interface, so I'm coming through on the first input of my interface. So once you've got your track set up, the most important part is identifying the input of your track for recording. So as you can see, I've got our Discord audio's coming through, and it's coming through the input 1. Let's have a quick look here what I got. So that being said, now that we've got our tracks labeled, we've got our input figured out. So we've got input 1, which is our mic. If we're recording guitars, we could use 2 mics, so we can do a combination of both if we wanted to do stereo. But for vocal, you just want to record just a single microphone. So with that being said, we can get to recording some vocals, and this is actually something that I've been really excited for. The last couple of days, I didn't want to just bring something to the table that I had already worked on, because that wouldn't be new and engaging and fun for me. I wanted to come up with something new. I create music for you, but I also create music for me to enjoy. And I felt it was fun to maybe come up with something that would be related to the workshop, related to Nifty Island, related to what we got going on and the vibe. So I got some lyrics that I had written out to it, and I'd love to do a live recording of some vocals for y'all and go from there. But for now, I'm gonna play y'all the beat, play y'all about 30 seconds of the beat, and see what y'all think so far. This is the track that Mocha Only from Sweatshop Union and Swollen Members and I worked together on the last couple of months, and just really excited to bring this to y'all. So with that being said, here's the beat. 6, if there's any issues with the audio level, if it's too loud or not, let me know, but I will play this. Alright, that's a little intro, a little preview for y'all. I'm gonna pop over to Discord and see how y'all doing there. All right. Oh wow, we got a lot of people. Thank you for pulling up, man. I appreciate y'all. Do a little reset of the room here and see who's all in here. Oh, big love for coming through, man. I appreciate everyone. We got the Bloom Babes, Bloom Bandits in the house. Legends, absolute legends. All right, friends, with that being said, I don't want to keep stalling on this. This is something that I've been excited for. So let's get started with the first vocal track. What we're going to do, now that we got the beat imported, we've got 4 vocal tracks ready to go. Let me fix that up. We've got our beat imported. We're ready to rock. I'm feeling good. It's all about a moment. I personally recommend get started, get set up first before anything. If you are a smoker, I strongly recommend do not smoke until you get your first take recorded. I've seen this over and over and over. People come into the studio, they get so excited, they're ready to rock. They might have a drink, they might have a little small. I would just let's get a take in first, because I promise y'all, that first take is gonna be nice and chill. So, with that being said, let's just get over to the vocal, and hopefully y'all like it. So I'm gonna switch over to the vocal one. So I'm gonna take off the input, and we'll see you there in a sec. That easy. How you feeling there, Six? Hey, all right. So let's get it, y'all. Got the nerves. It's like a live performance here, man. I haven't done a live performance in a while. Oh, I'm using the Audio Technica 4050 condenser microphone. Thank you for bringing that up. There, the condenser microphone is something that will pick up everything. So you may hear some construction going on in the background. That's coming from about 500 meters away. This thing can pick it up. My cat meowing in another bedroom, it can pick it up. So you really want to have a room that's quite isolated. Not necessarily isolated, but treated with acoustic foam. You see some people record in their bathrooms or their closets. So a microphone like that is a condenser microphone. Audio Technica 4050 is what I got. I'd say it's about a $200 or $300 mic, US give or take, but I would definitely say professional quality microphone. But anything in the Audio Technica line is a good one to be picking up. Appreciate the questions. Keep them coming. If you guys do got any questions at all, you can either relay them over to Six, and we can definitely get those answered along the way. But with that being said, let's get the first take recorded, and let you know why they call me Too-Phat. And I'm happy with that one, man. I'm happy with that. Completely happy with that. Once you got your first take, I'm going to save my track right now. There's nothing worse than a project crashing after your take. I appreciate y'all. Thanks, fam. So I'm happy with that one. With that being said, I'm going to move over to vocal 2. Sorry, guys. I should have had that. I should have had that enlarged so you can see the waveforms going. So I'm going to head over to vocal 2, and we'll see you there in a sec. Hey, I'm back. Hi, I'm Dave. Been watching that lately too. All right, let's get into that second track, second recording. I'm really excited. Before I jump ahead, the most important part when it comes to bringing your beat in is finding the BPM. So my BPM's locked at 95. I'll show you a little bit after that, but there's a reason why I've got 95 BPM. There's ways that you can upload your song into a browser and find the BPM, the beats per minute of your track. You know, like our heart rate beats around 78, 79 BPM. So this is 95. Anyway, second track. Let's get into, got the vibes going. Listen to my voice right now. All right, friends. So there's going to be a reason why they call me Too-Phat. And a lot of people sometimes will sing over it. Migos, you'll hear a lot of them just add a bunch of ad-libs over the side of it. I like to add a little bit of space and thickness and fullness to the voice. So with that being said, if your voice can do it and if you've got the skill to do it, I encourage you to try this out. So check it out. I can roll with that. I can roll with that. I know I could definitely do a better take. But for demo purposes, how y'all feeling? How y'all feeling in the chat? You think I should do one more take of that? Or should we move on? No pressure, no pressure at all. I'm just catching my breath here. I feel like I can get another better take in on that one. All right, all right. It's good. Appreciate y'all. It sounds good, but if you feel it, do it. I appreciate y'all. I do have another version I can show y'all. For purposes of this, let's keep what we got. Let's keep what we got. But it's missing something. It's missing something. It's missing a hook. You need a hook. You gotta have a hook in a song. What's a song without a hook? So I'm thinking, is this really what I'm gonna present to them? Legendary moments, daily true duty? And I'm gonna end with that? I said, no, 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 no. We gotta come up with something better than that. So I started from around here and I said, okay, well, give me something that I can come up with. I say, all right. So I brainstormed a little bit throughout the middle of the night and came up with a little something. Simple and easy, simple and effective, but I feel it. It's a vibe. Let's go. It's not who body did it first, it's about who does it better and who does it right. If the owl ain't got a fight now, the boom bandits attack into the night now. Stack it up, bobbing like a boom duty. Legendary moment, steady true duty. Bam. Switch over to Discord audio. Catch y'all in a sec. All right, friends. It's going to be a little difference in the audio. I'm not sure if y'all can hear the difference. I've got a bit of effects happening on this portion of Discord. Now that, or sorry, of Logic Pro on this track. Everything that I had just recorded, these 5 vocal tracks have no processing on them. This is just a raw audio file. Your goal, your mission when you're recording anything to do with audio is to get the most rawest sound you can without processing. Processing adds noise. Processing adds unwanted artifacts in your digital music that you do not want. And in an MP3, you will hear that 100%. With that being said, I think we can get into the mixing side of things. Yeah, let's get into the editing side of the vocals. I think so too, just so you guys can really hear the sound on what it really does to add a compression and some delays and really get things going on in here. So with that being said, I'm gonna pull up my mixer window. And that's the big reason why I labeled these tracks, so you can really see what's going on here. So we've got our Discord audio coming through, and I've got a compressor and some channel EQ coming in. So this is my compression right now. I've got my own preset labeled as Too-Phat. But a compression, it does a really good job of balancing the sound. It brings up the highs and balances the lows. And it also adds a little bit more of a punchier effect. So when you're on radio, when you're listening into the radio, they're heavily compressed. Why their voices sound like that, it's not a natural sound. They use a compression. So an example of a before, test 1, 2, test 1, 2, test 1, 2, test 1, 2. Not sure if Discord's picking up the difference in the sound of the audio, but there is a noticeable difference. And we're gonna try that out here on the audio tracks, and we'll see. So what I'm gonna do is our first vocal, I'm gonna go ahead and just add compression. I've got my preset saved as Too-Phat, but we can also go in and say why it is compressing why it is. So I will play the song from the beginning, and you will see these levels come up. As I move the threshold in a negative direction, you're gonna start to see the levels compress. So as it goes into a negative direction, that's when compression starts to kick in. So you ideally for a vocal, you wanna be in the range of -3 at its minimum, and at its peak, about -10. You don't wanna be going any more compression into this. Then you start to step into the radio side of things, and your voice really sounds heavily compressed like a radio voice. So I personally like to stay in the range of -3 to -6 for vocals. So let's go ahead and play that back. I'm gonna take the input off so you just hear the audio right now. So that being said, you can see that there's got some compression coming in on that vocal. So since we've got more than one vocal, I'm gonna add another compressor on there. So ideally, I'm gonna be setting all of my vocals roughly to the same compression. And if you've got layers, that's when you can start to really play around and change around with the voice and the compression of different takes and different tracks. That's when you can really separate your mix. And when I mean mix, the flavor, what you hear from left to center to right of your headphones. You'll see a lot of really soft electronic music will have really spatial audio and it sounds great in a surround sound, or your headphones almost sound like they're in surround sound. That's what we're trying to achieve when it comes to the mixing portion. But for this portion right now, we're just trying to balance the audio, and the compressor does a great job at balancing audio and vocals. So that being said, I can copy by holding Option on my Mac and just dragging over onto each track. Just for demo purposes. I could spend hours when it comes to a compression and fine tuning it, but for demo purposes now, I'm just gonna Option click as I'm holding Option and release, and you're able to add the same compression as you could see on each channel. Next is going to be the EQ. So I personally recommend having EQ. EQ on your track, as you could see here on where I'm talking. The big thing is those lows. So if I remove this, if you got a big truck, or if there's anything that a low bass or a low frequency or an LFE or a big low tone, that's going to come through your condenser microphone, and that's going to be picked up in the recording, and it's there forever. You're going to need software to remove it. And y'all remember what I mentioned about software earlier. The more software or processing you add to the vocal, it adds a layer of digital noise. So it increases that noise floor. So I use a little bit of EQ just to enhance the highs, just a little bit, just a little trickle. Logic is really good with having presets on here. So anyone who's new to mixing and editing, strongly recommend using a preset to know what it is that it's boosting, and go ahead and boost that signal. So you can see that there's a cut at 200. Well, why is there a cut at 200? If I boost to 200, you may be able to notice that sound now, right? It gets a little more tinny. You can start to really hear things out there. So I'm gonna cut 200, and 200, personally in the voice, you don't really need a lot of 200 in there, because your voice naturally has a lot of boom in your chest to begin with. And anything below, I'd say 80 hertz is not in the human voice at all. If you've watched the movie 300, there's a scene where he's got that really, really low voice coming through the sub. Well, that's added flavor. But for a recording, for editing and software, I personally recommend cutting around 80 hertz. You'll notice in a subwoofer, if you've got a surround sound stereo at home, your subwoofer, that's usually where your cutoff is 80 hertz. So your subwoofer isn't playing anything above 80 hertz. Just like in the vocal. We're not a subwoofer, but we don't want anything playing under 80 hertz. So we're gonna cut that. So with that being said, I'm gonna add an EQ onto each channel, just to color that up a little bit. So again, drag, Option drag, and it'll be different on your PC. For me, I'm using Option click on my Mac. It's a pretty universal, or pretty Mac standard thing when it comes to editing software. If you're holding that Option click and you're in your mixer window, you're able to duplicate the settings, so you're not having to physically go in, click compressor, click stereo, click your preset, find your preset, click close, and add it again. It's just a nice, easy way to add that onto your channel. And if you've added a channel or added an effect onto a channel you don't want, just click no plugin. It's gone. So we've got some compression, some EQ on there right now. I will just play that back. You may or may not notice the difference. Again, being Discord, everything is coming through a mono signal. So I'm just gonna play a few seconds of there, just up into the chorus, and let's see what we think. Just let me take you All right, well, I can definitely hear a lot more clarity in the voice. The voices have got a lot more louder, as you could tell. So a compression is gonna, like I say, bring up the noise floor depending on your compressor settings. That's when you can get in and fine tune and start realizing, okay, well, now that the compressor is added, made my voice louder, well, that changes the sound of your mix. So that's when you can go in and fine tune and tweak. Let's go ahead and save real quick. Always make it a strong habit of every 15, 20 minutes, auto save. You can go into your settings and click auto save. Anything to do with audio, editing software, video, I'm pretty sure it's all across the board. Save your stuff every 15 minutes. Just mental check, do a quick save. Last thing you want is to lose your recording. There are digital backups, but you never know about that last edit. Might not be on there. So, as you can tell, the voices are a bit loud. Down here in this section, I am peaking on my master, so that's something that we don't want. That's something that can be fixed, can be corrected. With that being said, now that we got our compression and channel EQ on there, I think it's still missing something. It's still missing some flavor. So we've got, without jumping too far into it, I'm gonna throw let's just get over here for a second, blend this just to make it sound good first. So as you were saying, the vocals were a little bit loud at the beginning. So when we started our vocal, I didn't adjust, you notice I didn't adjust any of these levels. Because you just want to record your raw input. We can get to the mixing after the recording's done. I personally, on my second take, on my background, on my layer, I like having that a little bit lower in the mix. 0 dB is nominal. That's where you'll start with in digital. 0 dB is the standard. So if you're going to add to it, it's going to +1. So 0 is nominal. That's their unity level or unity gain. So I'm going to bring this one down to about 2.2. Just bring that down a little bit. Play that back real quick for about 5 seconds just to hear how it sounds. Mind your ears.
Just let me take you back for a minute. We was kids, nothing mattered infinite. Your fall showed, I will carry the way. Cause you know me,
just with one.
me will bury the hay. Imagine if it never happened.
I'll add that
Imagine
layer
if
in.
we never met and never started rapping. Imagine if I never had a mic. Good friends, we're gonna
one.
be alright. We're gonna be alright.
So some artists like having that raw, natural single voice. Some artists are really, really, really good at having one voice. The reason for that, well, when they go live, they sound just like they do on the album. You get artists that start adding 5, 6, 7, 8 layers on their voice with singing in the background, and then you throw them in a live performance and you're like, what's going on here? You don't sound like you do. Or are you lip syncing? Well, they have to lip sync because they've got 7 or 8 background layers that they can't emulate or harmonize. If you're a rock band, Tool is great because they have a great production behind their stage with all that processing their guitars to make it sound like they've got 10 people on stage. So personally, I like adding that second vocal, bring it down a little bit in the mix. I could even bring it down just a little bit more. And that's another reason why I call myself Too-Phat. I like myself having fat vocals, fatter than the other, and separation. So that's that. That's the verse. So now that we get into the chorus side of things, we're still on mixing. We haven't really got into too much processing besides just a basic compressor and an EQ. That's all you really need for your vocal when it comes to editing the track itself. Just a basic EQ and a vocal. Once you've got that, you really got a track. It's just a matter of content and how clear your signal is that's coming through. So I'm actually just going to pull up my mixer here, make this a little bit more easier to see. On this section here, you've got a pan option. Pan left and right. You've all seen a pan before on a receiver, or if you got a surround sound stereo at home, there's a pan button. Use it. Utilize this tool when you're recording. Your pan that's where your mix, your separation goes. So if I just mute our two vocals and I play around with the pan, watch what happens.
Just let me take you back for a minute. We was kids, nothing mattered infinite. You fall short, I will carry the weight. Cause you know me, there's no need, we'll bury
Discord
the
may
hate.
not pick that up.
Imagine if it never happened.
But it's
Imagine
coming.
if we never met and never started rapping.
I've got one vocal coming out the left side of my headphone and one vocal coming out the right. So if you are comfortable enough and confident enough to have a take where you're saying the exact same words, play with it. And listen to it in headphones. When you're listening to music now, check out, listen in your mix, and you're gonna hear a guitar way on the left side, or you're gonna hear a vocal way on the right side. Well, that's them using the panning feature and separating their mix. So not everything is just coming through the center. Again, Discord may not be able to separate this audio. So when I'm panning my voice, I'm all the way in the left headphone. When I'm panning my right, it's all the way in the right headphone. I can't tell if Discord's doing that because I'm only hearing what's coming through my audio right now. So again, try that out. If you can't hear this difference here when I'm doing that, try some editing software, and play around with your pan with a vocal, or even something that can record a headset, and just play around with that, and you'll know what I mean. So with that being said, let's head over to the chorus now. And you see that I had 3 tracks of the chorus. So I had my main, and then I've got 2. Actually, I doubled everything. So what I want to do, sorry for the confusion there, folks. So I've got three layers on my vocal for the chorus. Let's just actually label this one chorus 1. Just because now that we know that this is the hook for the chorus. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna pan my chorus vocals just a little bit in the mix. I'm gonna go 40-40 right in the middle. And that's gonna make a nice effect for the chorus. Let's go ahead and play that back just to give you an example of what that sounds like. Mind your ears. And that's separation in the mix. Go ahead and save that. So I'm pretty happy with the blending of the mix right now. There's just volume levels, adjusting your voice if it's too loud in the mix or if the beat is too loud in the mix. That can all come in once you feel you're getting to your end product. It's starting to come together like a song. But there's still a couple elements that are missing in this. And I personally love a delay. So I'm gonna add a delay on the voice, and you'll know how that changes the whole feel of the sound in a moment. So what I'm gonna do is click in my mixer window, which can be found just here, open mixer. I'm gonna go option, I'm gonna create an auxiliary channel strip. So when I create a channel here, that's creating, you can create an audio, MIDI, pattern, or drummer. So if you want to record audio, use this portion. But if you want to add effects, I personally use an auxiliary channel strip. I'll get to that in a moment. I'm going to call this one delay. And I'm going to turn this up to 0. 0 is unity. We don't want my voice coming through here, so we want to assign it an input. I'm going to assign this a bus input. Buses are what we use to send and receive signals inside the mixer. My voice is going to change here just in a sec. Now we're on the bus input. Nothing's being sent to this delay yet until I go ahead and tell it to. So what I'm going to do first, without confusing, so create an auxiliary channel strip. I'm going to call it delay. I'm going to turn the fader up to unity. I'm going to assign the input as a bus. And then we're going to add the effect of delay. Click your preset. I like a good quarter note flutter. Play around with it depending on how you like it. Personally, I'm a fan of quarter note flutters. I'm going to close that for now. We're not sending anything into bus 1 yet. That's why we created a bus input. We haven't sent anything into the delay yet until we tell it to. Delay input is bus 1. We haven't sent anything into bus 1. We haven't sent. You get that now? It might be a little confusing at the start, but what you want to do is whatever you want to go into the delay, you want to send it in your mixer. So for this case, let's just do this for test and for example here. I'm going to add a send into the audio I'm talking right now. Test, 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 test. And now we got a delay. So we're going to play around with that a little bit. Have some fun. So I'm going to go over to this send and add that delay on my vocal 1. Let's go ahead and add it on everything. Now I'm just creating it right now. I haven't sent anything. There's a level on here on how much I can send. Right now it's not sending anything until I turn it up. So I'm going to play this back. You know, folks, before I get into that, I know I'm jumping ahead a little bit here because everything that's delayed, once you got your recording, you see there's a couple little artifacts here. This might not be something that we want in the mix. So ideally you want to quickly clean up your mix before you start adding any processing into it. Adding that EQ and a compressor, totally fine to do, but you will hear at the beginning of the song, I think I was coughing a little bit. So I'll show you how to just trim and clean up your mix a little bit. So I'm going to mute the beat for now. And I'm going to mute the second vocal, and I just want to hear this first vocal. You'll hear what I mean in a second. I'm just going to mute myself here, and you're just going to hear the raw audio recording. Nobody wants that in the mix, do they? I mean, we could. We can keep that in there if you want. But what we're going to do is we're just going to clean that up a little bit. We just want to clean that up. And you could tell right here, I don't really come in to say anything until the 9th bar. So we can go ahead and trim that up too. So you got a nice, clean, good recording of your audio. So we're just going to clean up this audio right now. So all I'm doing is using my pointer tool. As long as you have your pointer tool selected, you just hover over. You want to click the track and hover over right at the beginning, kind of like if you're resizing something. Just going to clean that up a little bit. It's always the fun part. Quick little cleanup. Everybody likes a good uniform, clean mix. And I'd say I'm happy with that right now. There's a couple little things that we can use, but there's some effects that we can use after to kind of really clean up the mix after. How we feeling, folks? Hopefully I didn't tire anybody out yet. We're still going. This is where it starts to get a little fun once we start adding the delays. So that being said, we've got a clean mix. We've cleaned up our mix a little bit. Let's go ahead and add a little bit of delay. Let's just start with just a little bit. Let's go with a quarter for now. Just a little tad. Let's hear how it sounds. I think I'm happy with that one. Definitely happy with that. I'm definitely happy with that. So we've got our delays on there. I added, I'm not sure if y'all see what I was doing earlier. I was adding a little bit more delay than others. That's why I created a delay send for each channel. So I've got equal amounts of delay that are sent to chorus 1 and chorus 2. But then I've got a little bit more delay sent to my main vocal. So I'm feeling pretty good with that. If I mute my beat now, just play back what we've got, we can really blend in the vocals and hear how it sounds. I'm just going to start it from here.
Just let me take you back for 1 minute. We was kids, nothing mattered infinite. You fall short, I will carry the way. Cause you know me, there's no need, we'll bury the hay. Imagine if it never happened. Imagine if we never met and never started rapping. Imagine if I never had a mic. Good friends, we're gonna be alright. We're gonna be alright.
So you can see how you can hear you can almost hear my headphones in the background as it was playing. If you really want to get articulate and get in there, a lot of editors will go in and actually space out each individual gap to clean up that audio. It's very, very common. I personally will do that if I have time. You'll hear it in almost 99% of every song that I've put out. For demo purposes, I will use a gate. You may have heard of noise gate before in some gaming headsets. Discord has noise suppression built in. but allow me to show you what a gate sounds like, done right and done wrong. This is a great example of a gate done wrong. This is not a gate. That's not a gate. That's it's opening and closing when it shouldn't. So for now, I'm going to use a backing vocal gate, bring my threshold down a little bit to make it sound a little bit more natural, because you can hear the clicks and the pops when it opens and closes. But it adds a lot more clarity to your mix, especially if you're broadcasting. You can definitely hear the sound of it coming in and coming out. So for this reason, I'm going to take it out. It does a good job, especially if you got construction work going on in the background. Noise gate's really good to help cleaning up your mix. But for this reason, I don't think we need a gate for this particular one. So we've gone over basic EQ and compression. We've trimmed, cleaned up the recording. We've done mixing. We've blended up the vocals with some instrumentals, adjusted volume and panning. I think the last thing right now, before I'm feeling like this could be a good sounding track, is I'd like to go over a little thing called mastering. I'm not sure how you guys are feeling about the song right now. I went ahead and did a test recording of this yesterday, so perhaps I can give you an example of the recording that I had done. Very similar process, 2 recordings here on vocal 1, vocal 2, and a three takes of the chorus. So with that being said, I think we're ready to get into the mastering part. Mastering is definitely something I personally would not recommend doing during the mixing and recording stages. Take a break. Take your headphones off. Go for a walk. Take a rest. Go for a drive. Come back. Listen to your song that you had just done on another stereo, on an MP3 or a Bluetooth speaker, on your phone, on your grandma's radio or clock radio. Listen to it a few times. So when you get to the mastering step, it basically it enhances the track for its final destination. It balances the levels. It ensures everything is clear. It adjusts it to any speaker to sound great. It's the last step to ensure that your track feels complete and professional. So a lot of artists, a lot of people will send these mastering section into mastering production houses where they are quite skilled. They've never heard the song before previously, and they're able to go in with a fresh set of ears and tune it. We don't need to get too detailed into that. For now, we're just going to give a basic introduction to mastering. Logic Pro has a great AI detection where it actually it pre-detects and analyzes the song ahead of time, and it detects the highs and the lows and the peaks and balances to create a really, really finished product. So allow me to show you. I can talk about this for a long time on this, but mastering is a great way to avoid peaks. So if you can see in this area, it's going to keep you from peaking, but it also can go the wrong way if not done properly. So if you've got a mix that's completely in the red, is slammed all the way up like this, you're completely distorting. Well, mastering is really not going to play a role. It's just going to make it sound even worse. So with that being said, let's pop into mastering and have a look how it sounds. So it's creating a master chain for me now. And with this mastering chain, adds a lot of processing power to your computer. It puts a lot of load on your computer. So at this particular moment, my audio is being delayed by about half a second. So I'm going to show you what this sounds like right now, just to give you an example. But the big thing right now in Discord, and I was playing around with this earlier today, where you're really going to hear the difference in mastering is the spread on width. Because Discord is coming through in a mono signal, you really won't hear the separation left and right. until I play with the width. So sit back, relax. We're almost finished up. This is the last portion here, and hopefully everyone likes the song and are feeling it. So enjoy the mastering. Here we are. And I will go ahead and adjust the width. You'll see me move this level up and down. If anybody does notice a difference, I'm curious to know if they notice. Say something in chat. I'll see it pop up here. If you guys do notice it, as soon as I start moving this up and down, let me know if you notice a difference in that. But if not, all good. It's Discord only sending that mono signal. So here we go. why. That was just a little something. I might not keep that. That's just added that in there for a little salt and pepper, a little flavor. I'm gonna go ahead and keep that. Add that compressor real quick. Add that EQ. Add that delay real quick on there because I'm not really rapping over anything, so I can turn that up a little bit more. Play that back real quick. What up, Nifty Allen fam? Appreciate y'all for being here today. Feels good to be back in 2025. Let's go. Hey, yeah, I like that. I like that. All right, man. With that being said, I think this song feels good. It's feeling like a vibe. I can go ahead and save this track. Now, what do we do now that we're finished? Last thing, I want to export this song. I want to get this song out of here. I want to get this into people's ears. I'm feeling good about it now. We've got our mastering on here. Get that mastering plugin back on. Turn on our loudness a little bit. Let's go ahead and export this song. So down on your stereo track here, you've got an option called BNC, which is called bounce. So when you click that bounce button, change that file format to WAV, 16-bit, Nifty Island, 16-bit WAV. That's what we want to use. I would technically use dithering. So if you are changing from 24-bit to a 16-bit, I personally recommend using dithering. You can use noise shaping or dithering. I use dithering. Interleaved. Split is going to give you two signals, one left, one right. You can do a real-time bounce, or we can do an offline bounce. For now, I'll do an offline bounce. And normalizing, here's the important part. So normalizing, if you're putting this into YouTube, you want to normalize it. If you're loading this into any stream, let's just, for demo purposes, use normalize. I personally recommend use it every time. And we're going to go ahead and click OK. Find the folder that we were working on. Let's just call this Nifty Island Bounce Workshop. And we're going to go ahead and bounce the song. Take off my mastering plugin so I can speak in real time again. So song's been bounced. Song has officially been exported. So where do we go now? Well, we can head over to the Forge and we can upload that song into Nifty Island. So stand by just for a sec here, folks. All right. So I have moved over. Just confirm. 6, can you still hear the audio when I am sharing the screen here? Or can you hear the? Can you still hear the my voice coming through when I'm sharing the screen? Cool. Awesome. Awesome. So I've got 3 tabs opened up here. I'm going to talk just briefly on this. I know we're getting pressed here for time. I do apologize for going on. That mixing part took a little bit longer than usual, or longer than anticipated. But with that being said, we've got the Nifty Island Forge. I've gone ahead and just uploaded a cover image. So this is the creation, the Forge portion of Nifty Island. Once you've got your finished song, you've got any animations, anything like that. This is what we use to upload our files into Nifty Island. So I've gone ahead and used a preview upload of an image that I have used from Meme Deck. Meme Deck, definitely highly recommend utilizing Meme Deck. That's how I was able to generate this photo from my avatar. Meme Deck is just great at utilizing your, basically, is able to turn anything into a meme off prompt and scripts. So, highly recommend to get in there and get your avatars uploaded into Meme Deck and start playing around with them. I basically said, show me of a music teacher sitting in the studio instructing a class, and it had given me this this creation here. So Meme Deck, definitely recommend utilizing that. I use it on a daily basis. And for some folks that may not have the time or may not have the skill base to be producing their own beats, I know it takes up a lot of time to do. And again, thank you for riding with me. My cat's beside me. Don't mind her meowing. Use Suno. Suno's a great tool. Suno AI is just script. So an instrumental of a feel-good morning sunshine beat. An instrumental of a feel-good morning sunshine beat. And click instrumental, and let's type in hip hop for this purposes. And I'm just gonna create, or click create. It doesn't take long at all. The quality, you can definitely tell it's an MP3, but look how fast this spits out. So I'll go ahead and download this really quickly and upload this into Logic so you can hear just how easy it is with prompt to get started. So you've got an option to download MP3 audio. Well, let me download it. Oh, it might take a second here, but I will, Six, I'm just gonna go ahead and play this and see if the audio shares to you guys. Right? You go ahead and use a script. And you got yourself a nice feel-good hip-hop beat, and you can go throw that into your digital audio recording software. And as long as I was comfortable and confident enough to explain myself on these steps, which I'm pretty sure I've given you the tools to get started in creation and just start building, start recording, play around with your voice, play around with those delays, those effects. The compressor really sets a tone and just giving yourself a really nice feel of recording. And I definitely recommend utilizing Suno AI if you're not quite ready to jump into beat making yet, and get you started. We need more musicians out there. Yeah, I'd love to hear some people experiment with this, and maybe we can work and build something together. So it's a good alternative for people who just aren't ready to produce their own stuff yet. So with that being said, friends, fam, I do appreciate y'all for coming through. I do have, if there is time, Six, to show you what I think was a polished version of this song that we did. But with that being said, this is where we can basically forge this into Nifty Island and upload this into the Forge and have this playing on a song. But if there is time, I'd love to show y'all the version that I had created yesterday.
Yep. Think it's around 20 minutes. It's all good.
Perfect. I appreciate y'all. Okay. Okay, so let's go ahead and share my screen again. Change windows. Okay. So let's save this, and I'm just going to open up the version that I did yesterday. As you can see, it's a very basic, it almost looks identical to to what we had today. 2 tracks at the beginning, main vocal, and I gone ahead and done the chorus. So with that being said, let me show you what I cooked up for this one. Let me know what you think. Bam. And that's that. That was my previous one that I had done. So, I think we got 9:30 right now. We're feeling good. The last step, I was going to put this song into the Forge, but I thought I'd show y'all the version that we had done, or that I had done yesterday. Obviously, we've got the one that we did today. So I'm more than happy to upload one of these into the Forge, and would love to have this up there onto the island, and the song will be available for y'all to enjoy. Just come on through and kick it. But with that being said, I believe I'm down to open this up to Q&A, but I appreciate everybody for coming through. Means a lot. It really, really does. I hope we can continue having more artists featured like this in the future. This is really cool to do, and I'm definitely down to do this again.